Alrighty, good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Allison. So this is our 25-minute Zoom recharge class. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's just start in a seat, okay? Okay, we'll reach those, we'll start with the arms out to the sides, okay? So we're just gonna do little baby shoulder circles. So go ahead and start going backwards first, getting bigger and bigger. If you're close to a wall, go ahead and scoot yourself up. So stretching out through those shoulders, good big reach up and around. Yeah, then we'll go the other way. So again, start nice and small, going forward, just getting bigger and bigger. And those full circles, big reaches up and around. Yeah, then we'll reach those arms up nice and tall. Go ahead and bend into that right elbow. That left hand is going to reach for it. So like you're patting yourself on the back with that right hand. Okay, keeping that core nice and tight, sitting up nice and tall, and then just pressing your head back. So feeling that stretch just right through that right tricep, maybe into that side body. Just holding it here for another couple of breaths. And then you can find a gentle lean over to your left side. You keep pushing that head back. We really want to avoid that head, the neck pressing forward. And it might happen if the shoulders are a little bit tighter, those triceps are a little bit tight, but just do your best to press that head back. Leaning over as much as is comfortable. Good, then go ahead and lift it back up. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So bending into that left elbow, that right hand just grabs onto it. So you can start just nice and tall, pressing the head into that forearm, holding for a few breaths. And then find that gentle bend over to that right side. And then inhale it back up, reaching both arms up nice and tall. And then exhale, we're going to twist it over to that right side. So inhaling, lengthening through that spine, and exhaling even deeper into that twist. Inhale, reaching those arms up, and then exhale, let's go to the other side. So sit nice and tall on that inhale, and then exhale, twist, looking over that shoulder. Good, now bring it back to center. We'll interlace those fingers behind the back. Okay, so those palms, we want the palms facing each other so they can touch, or maybe just interlace the fingers. That might be where you're at. Hold those knuckles down towards the ground. So we start to open up through that chest, think about the shoulders. We're starting to pull to point back, so the shoulder blades are coming together. Then maybe we can extend those arms away from the hips. Now, as we do, so the big thing is we don't want those shoulders to roll forward. We want to stay nice and open and lifted through that chest. And one more breath. Good, then release those arms, plant those hands. We're going to come onto those hands and knees. So hands are going to be right underneath those shoulders, knees are right underneath those hips. On that inhale, drop that belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. And exhale, we're going to round that spine, press the shoulder blades away from each other, drawing that belly up and in. And then inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, round. Last time, inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. Good, now bring it back to neutral spine. We're going to send that right foot back, flexing that foot as we point those toes straight down. So again, I know you can't really see my toes, but you can still see my hips. So we don't want the hips, ooh, okay, opening up that way. We want to rotate those pinky toes down to face the ground so those hips level off. So we're nice and level right here in this low back. Draw that belly up and in, and then we'll curl that right knee to the nose. Inhale, press that leg back out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, press it back out. Last time, curl that knee in and press that foot back. We're gonna sweep that leg over to that right side. So plant that foot down as best you can. If you need to bend into that knee or even slide that foot back a little bit further, you can, but the further we get that foot up, kind of towards the hands, the more of a stretch we're gonna feel through those inner thighs. Okay, so again, we're gonna go through those cat-cows, that same motion. We're gonna inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. And exhale, we'll round the spine, press the shoulder blades away, draw the belly in. Inhale, lift that chest, lift that tailbone. And exhale, round. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Good, bringing it back to that neutral spine. We're gonna send those hips back and just go as far as you can. You'll start to feel that stretch in that hip, in the hamstring and in that inner thigh. So just going at your pace. Good, inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, press it back. Maybe you go a little bit further. Good, inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, press those hips back. Nice flat back as we sink those hips back. So again, if you're still right up here, that's completely fine. Just going to your degree of stretch. If you can keep those toes down on the ground, try to. Good, then bring it back up. We're gonna send that leg straight back and then across. Okay, so as you can see, so the toes are just on the other side of my mat. Hey, we're gonna plant that right hand down. We're gonna twist. Left arm is gonna reach up. And exhale, we'll thread that arm through. So reach and inhale that arm back up. And exhale, thread it through. So keeping that core nice and tight. This is a little bit of balance here. Inhaling that arm up and lower that hand down. So send that right leg straight back again. Left arm's gonna reach forward. Then exhale, curl that knee and squeeze that elbow to the knee. Inhale, press it back out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it out. Last time, curl it in and send it back out and lower the hand down, lower that knee down. Okay, so we'll go to the other side. Turned around here. So again, we're gonna send that left leg straight back. Exhale, curl that knee in. Inhale, press it back out. Exhale, curl it in. Good, inhale, reach it out. Last one. Exhale, curl it in. And press that foot back, sweeping that leg around. And maybe that slight bend into those knees if the inner thigh or that hamstring's feeling a little bit tighter. Then inhale, we'll drop that belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. Last time, inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Good, bring it back to neutral, core tight. Pressing those hips back. And inhale it back up. Good, exhale, press it back. Maybe a little bit further. Hold it for another breath. Then bring it back up. And last time, pressing those hips back. We're gonna hold this for a couple breaths. Keeping that back nice and flat. Send those hips back as far as you can. Good, then bring it back up. Go ahead and send that leg back and across the mat. We'll plant that left hand as we twist. Right arm is gonna reach up, so keep that core nice and tight as we twist. And exhale, thread that arm through. Inhale, reach it back up. Exhale, thread it through. Last time, reach that arm up. Good, and then lower that hand down just to kind of readjust. We're gonna send that left leg straight back. Right hand is gonna reach forward. Exhale, curl it in. Squeeze that elbow to the knee. Inhale, press it back out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it out. Last one, exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach it back out and lower that hand down, lower that knee down. Go ahead and step those feet back to a plank, okay? A little work through that core. Okay, so this can be done on the knees as well. Okay, squeezing those legs together, pulling that chest forward, slightly pressing those shoulder blades away from each other. Let's breathe here. We'll go for 5, 4, 3, 2, good, and 1. Send those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a minute, pedal those feet out, so bend one knee as we press that opposite heel just down towards the mat. Good, then make our way back to a plank. We're gonna do some mountain climbers here. So again, this can be done on the knees as well, okay? So finding that plank position, okay, we're gonna curl that right knee into the chest, step it back. Switching sides, left knee pulls in, press it back, send to the right, and back, left, back, right, back, left, back. Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower those knees down, sending those hips back to your heels into your child's pose. Yeah, so just doing those mountain climbers, just get that blood flowing a little bit, especially if you've been sitting all morning. Reach through those fingers, pressing into those palms to press those hips closer to your heels. And then go ahead and bring it back up. We're gonna step a right foot through, okay, to that right hand. Back knee lowers down, and we're gonna come up into a lunge. So we can just keep our hands on our hips, okay. Starting with this back hip stacked over the back knee, okay. So we wanna walk our right foot forward a little bit more, so our ankle is gonna be in front of the knee. Okay, now from here, keeping that core tight, rib cage is pulling down, tailbone is pulling down, so that nice neutral spine. We're gonna press those hips forwards. We'll start to feel that big stretch through that left hip flexor. Okay, now, curling the back toes under. Okay, as you can see, okay, we're gonna press into those feet. We're gonna lift up into that lunge. So lifting that back knee up. If you need to hold on to something for a little bit of balance, you can. Okay, then lower that knee down. Try and get it to touch the ground, okay? Or maybe you just hover. Just get as low as you can. Bring it back up into that lunge. Okay. Lower back down. Maybe you touch. Bring it back up. Okay. Lower down, touch. And back up. Let's go one more. Lower down. Good. Bring it back up into that lunge. Reaching those arms up overhead. Keeping that core nice and tight. Big, deep bend into that front knee. Try and get that knee right over that ankle. And now straighten that front leg. Ground that back, heel down. Okay, so the toes are going to be turned out just a few degrees. We want to square those hips off to point towards that big toe. Reach those arms up, and then we're going to fold it forward. So we want that nice flat back. Okay, as we fold over this right leg, you're going to feel that big stretch through that hamstring. You still want to really actively press that back heel into the ground. Nice flat spine as we fold. Go ahead and plant those hands down. Let's go ahead and step it back to that downward facing dog. And then we're gonna go to the other side. So we'll step that left foot through, back knee is gonna lower down. Okay, so if you wanna start with the toes down, if that feels better on your knee, you can, or if the toes curled under is comfortable on the knee, that's fine too. Okay, so bring those hands to the hips, rib cage down, tailbone down, pressing those hips forward. You're feeling that stretch through that right hip flexor. Now we'll curl those back toes under, okay, pressing into those feet as we lift that knee up and lower down. Send it back up and lower it down. Good, bring it back up. Let's go 2 more. Lower down and up and lower. Good, bring it back up to that high lunge, reaching those arms up overhead and hold, core tight. A couple more breaths. Now we're going to straighten that front leg, ground that back heel down. Okay, hips are staying square, pointing, your hips are pointing the same direction as your left toes, and then reaching the hands forward, lowering those hands down to the calf, the ankle, or maybe all the way down to the ground. We want to, that same idea when we're in that on hands and knees of keeping those hips nice and level. So you might have to pull that left hip back, right hip forward a little bit more. And then go ahead and plant those hands, stepping those feet back, lowering those knees down, and then sending those hips back to the heels into that child's pose. Now adding on to that child's pose, we're going to lift up slightly. We're going to walk those hands over to that right side of your mat. Big reach through that left arm as we settle that head down. And walk those hands back to center. And then go over to that other side. So reaching those arms out long through that right hand as we rest that head down. And then bring it back to center. Just come onto the knees. You can sit back on those feet. Just interlace those fingers behind the back. Again, that big stretch through those shoulders, reaching those arms back away from those hips. Good, and go ahead, release those hands down. Okay. Go ahead and send those hips back up to a downward facing dog. And then we're just gonna step those feet forward. So we're gonna come into a forward fold. So nice flat back on that inhale. And then exhale, just to let those hands slide down as we fold. Just letting the head hang nice and heavy, feeling that big stretch through the backs of the legs, through those hamstrings. If this is a lot on your low back, you always have that option of bringing your hands to the shins, flattening out that back, and taking that stress off those stretch off the low back. Also, if you're too far forward in your toes, it's gonna load those hips a little bit, or it's load your back a little bit too much as well. So just send those a little bit more weight into those heels. Good, then bend into those knees, flatten out that back. You're gonna come up to standing. If you have a wall close by or something to hold on to, maybe a chair, go ahead and grab onto it, bringing that weight into that right foot. We're gonna reach or kick that left leg back. Bring those knees together. We're pulling that heel towards that glute. Rib cage draws down, and then pull that knee back. Go ahead and release that foot. Let's go to the other side. So kicking that Right leg up, knees together, rib cage pulls down as we press that foot back into the hand, pulling that knee back. A few more breaths. And then go ahead and release that foot down. Crossing that left ankle over, and then sit those hips down. So we're coming into that pigeon or that figure four. But in that seated position, so working a little bit of balance here too. Okay, so if you feel comfortable bringing those hands away from the wall, maybe just bringing it to the shin, that's fine. But again, if you need help with that balance, just go ahead and grab, grab onto something next to you. Sitting those hips down, sorry. Sitting those hips down as low as you can. Good, then we'll bring it back up. Let's go to the other side. We'll cross that right ankle over. So we sink those hips down. So flexing through this right foot as we drop those hips down. Keep that nice flat back. A couple more breaths. If you fell out, go ahead and right back into it. Good, then go ahead and bring it back up. Go ahead and uncross that leg, reaching those arms up nice and tall. Then exhale, fold it forward. And then we'll just bring a slight bend to those knees, flatten out that back. One last twist to finish this off. So bending into that left knee, reaching that right arm up into that twist. Good, then lower it down. Keep that back nice and flat. We'll go right into that other side. So bending into that right knee, left arm reaches up. Good, then lower both hands down as we fold. Bend into those knees. We'll come back up to standing. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me this afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys next week.